Good evening and welcome to Theatrikos' presentation of An Evening of Spoken Word. I'm Theatrikos Executive Director Chris Farrell, and I am so excited to have 9 of our local Flagstaff poets be able to present for you tonight some of their beautiful, beautiful poetry. Now, in America, over the course of the last few years, we've been living through a tumultuous time. And when we decided to put together an evening of spoken word, we wanted to address that a little bit, not by calling attention to the things that have been troublesome recently, but by calling attention to the things that can bring us together. And so that is the theme of this evening's An Evening of Spoken Word. The theme, a celebration of unity. We've had enough divisiveness in the world. So tonight, here as you watch this on your laptop or on your computer on Zoom, the transmission device of choice, or not of choice in the pandemic, you'll get a little bit of some uplifting messages from our 9 Flagstaff poets. Hey, let me tell you who those 9 Flagstaff poets are. We have Lisa Jane, Marilyn Mcdonald, Mark Stevens, Kate Rose, Bob Yowell, Julie Morrison, John Propster, Bryn Wolf, and Kate Harkins. All of them here in Flagstaff to be able to bring you some wonderful poetry. Our producers this evening, a big thanks to Bob Yowell and Jan Rominger, who have put this evening together. And our video director and editor, John Propster, doing double duty today. Thank all of them very much. Hey, a little bit of information about what's coming up at Theatrikos. We are reopening. Fingers crossed. We hope so. We will be reopening with a show called Native Gardens. Native Gardens will open on July 24th. And in the interest of social distancing and great air circulation, we will be doing Native Gardens at the Arboretum. So you don't get better air circulation than Mother Nature's air circulation at the Arboretum. Tickets are available now at the theatrikos.com website. And in the pandemic era, of course, buying tickets comes with ticket insurance because, well, that's the world we live in. A few other announcements coming your way in October. It's the production of I Hate Hamlet, a hilarious show about an actor who hates Hamlet and then is cast and he has to play Hamlet, and wackiness ensues. And of course, this Christmas, it's a Wonderful Life live radio play. We've done this before with great success. The audience loves it. It's a stage version of a radio play of the classic. That might sound confusing, but it shouldn't. It is a delightful show. The Foley operator, the star of the show, in my opinion. Speaking of Native Gardens, hey, if you are an actor or you are one of the 9 poets who is presenting today, we have auditions for Native Gardens coming up on Sunday and Monday, May 2nd and 3rd. You can send an email to theatrikos.com and we'll send you audition information. And lest we not forget, tomorrow afternoon, Sunday at 2 o'clock, we have the 3rd of 3 installments of our community reading of the Crucible. Now, Arthur Miller's Crucible was a theatrical take on the McCarthy era, and a lot of that is relevant today. And it's not just a reading of the show, there is a really invigorating discussion that comes afterwards. Theater is all about entertaining and making people laugh and smile, but it's also about making a difference. And the community reading of Crucible is a great way for you to enjoy watching other people read the show, sit around a table and read. It's also a great way to get involved. All right, last but not least, live from the theater basement, our podcast streaming show comes your way Sunday evenings at 7:30. Stay with us for that. All right, enough of me. Let's get on with our poets. Our 9 poets again: Lisa Jane, Marilyn Mcdonald, Mark Stevens, Kate Rose, Bob Yowell, Julie Morrison, John Propster, Bryn Wolf, and Kate Harkins. You will enjoy them, and take it away here on an evening of spoken word here at Theatrikos.
Hi, my name is Lisa Jane. I am a playwright, also a poet. I don't think I would have called myself a poet until a couple years ago. I wrote some poetry for a creative writing class I was in just for fun. And our instructor had us send some of our poetry out. And 3 of the poems I'm going to share with you were published in the Muddy River Poetry Review. I believe that was in 18. Anyway, I'm gonna just jump right into my first poem, Feral Children of the Moon. Home had no jingle of the doorbell, an upside down horseshoe, because we didn't believe in luck. Every single one of us, curly-haired and wild-eyed, frightened of the howl of the coyote as we camped, scaring ourselves under light of the full moon, moonless nights being too dark, and daylight hours within this family, horror story enough. This next poem, The Thank You I Could Not Say, I wrote for my daughter's birth mother. She needed someone to raise her daughter, and I needed girl in my life because the halls of my home ran with testosterone. So I took the brown-haired baby girl, and I loved her well, but never said thank you to my daughter's first mother, because what is it I could say that wouldn't wound her again? All right, so this third poem, it's called A Place for Everything. It's probably just a commentary on a messy living with a cleanie, but again, a place for everything. You can clean until the walls sparkle, everything in its place, and my things, my letters and my shoes are where they should be for you, but I will expend my days on walks and sun and breathing in and out. I will put my brush away because you need it to be there and not on my sink top, but I will not join you in the round and round, putting that which does not last before those things that do. This last poem, a few years ago, I wrote, all my kids have birthdays around the same time, and I wrote them all a birthday poem. This one is for my daughter. She's my youngest, and at the time she was 11. So this is entitled Tesseren on her 11th birthday. Time, like the slippery eel it is, wriggles through my reaching fingers. I scream for its return, though I know it is deaf and does not care. Calling back the chunky baby thighs, the fingers you crossed to suck, quiet defiance, giving your brothers the hard time they provoke from you. All smiles and joy and laughter, sweetness and boldness, louder than 3 boys combined, your lungs working for the heart that has forgotten its rhyme a time or two. The road less traveled, the nights of oxygen tanks and prayers and songs sung in the tub, in the forest, you'll be in my heart. For that is where you were born for me, this mommy, your second, but no less loved. When I count my gifts, my daughter, my angel, you are among my greatest. Thank you for listening to my 4 poems tonight. I hope you enjoyed them.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Mcdonald. I've lived in Flagstaff for more than 30 years, and I've been a poet since I was at 10 and was published my first time nationally. I would like to think of myself as a noticer who helps other people notice things. And if they don't see things quite the same way that I see them, at least they noticed. My poem today is called Ungrove-like. And at first it might not seem like it's about unity, but I really feel that it is. Ungrove-like. The aspen stand together, toes touching. They're unified underground, a clonal colony. The watchful trees, they're called, perpetually intergazing, scarred brows cocked over oval eyes, charcoal smiles across pale bark. They cannot step away. They murmur together, sharing secrets of light and leaf fall, susurrating, heads tipped, whispering in the wind. Or is it we? We share this place. But us, we move, ungrove-like, sharing no intrinsic oneness, tied to no particular place or seasonal pace. And yet we gather. We stand in ceremony, vote in lines November mornings, breathlessly wait for the orchestra to blaze to the full-throated swell. Sob, smile, when love reveals or disappears on actors' faces. Breathe together at commencements and funeral farewells. We choose our grove. We choose our grove.
Pyromancer. The world pulses as she approaches. I feel the crimson edges of her presence radiating from the conflagration, burning beneath her crystal skin. Slivers of flame lick out in flickers, tasting the air, inhaling the aroma of the moment. At last, ice walls have melted. My heart, my eyes welled when I felt it. Nothing can contain these wondrous wild flames. Her whip, which only one will wield, strong surging spires of her fires, shall never yield. I do not fight her fire, nor do I try to flee from her. I watch her, rolling flames, and I join her dance. I move in instead of out, and she dances around, wanting without asking, pulling without grasping, in this dizzying, dancing, pyromancing. Then there are those raw, rare moments I long for. When that liquid light lingers longer. In a second of silent stillness, I humbly witness the warm glow of her fiery soul. In this silent serenade of surrender, warm waves ripple through me from her. In this twist of mist, I kiss the bliss blooms of elevation. Her magic is movement, her movement is meditation. Freedom expressed will not be suppressed with tethers, an ever-flowing fuel for finding fresh phoenix feathers. New growth offers rebirth, ever blossoming.
Hi, my name's Kate Rose, and I'm going to read 2 poems for you here. These were written this past summer, and they're all kind of about exploring this area here around Flagstaff in northern Arizona, which I'd never been to before, and kind of moved here kind of randomly about a year and a half ago. And they're also kind of about playing music again after not playing for about 20 years. So maybe some of you can relate to that as well. So this first one is called Owl's Song. Well then, if you want to play that violin, play it. Play it loose, play it light, play it till the moon comes into sight. Play it over a volcano and down the cinders of a hot land. Play it over and under the high waves as they crash. Play it by moonlight looking for an island that keeps inching away, but promises someday to be found. Play it light, play it loose, play it without fingers, play it without hands or arms, play it without notes, without bow, without strings. Play it without a song, with only one sound, bubbling from Earth's cauldron. You don't know that sound, seek it. If you don't seek that sound, know it, yes, know it simply. But please play it light and play it loose or I will die. Know it as it passes and grab its feathered cap, its beret, its cowboy hat, its sombrero, so it stays for tea, yes, sit it down. And whatever it drinks of you, be gracious and gifted with the owl's call. It seeks only sustenance of an ancient hunger. And in that hunger we meet. And in that hunger we dance our twisted movements, and in that hunger we sing our tuneless song. We meet in the ancient belly rumble. We meet in the hay and how the tumble. We meet in the sky and ride a shooting star. We meet on the bed of the pickup truck driving fast across the desert where there are no roads, and upward till the moon and coyotes are near. Meet me there, and please be on time. Bring that violin and meet me there. Driving home, I heard a harmonica and thought it was you streaking back across the hours. The owl sisters are still on the rock. In their water, we are whole. In it, we feed on the forest, below us gliding golden above the plants that never feel it hair. I grow a lush field, so the horse comes back.
Hi, hey, my name is Bob Yowell, and Lawrence Fairlin Getty, the famous beat poet, passed away recently. So I thought I'd read a few of his poems. He's one of my favorite poets, if you will. These poems are from Coney Island of the Mind, which is a very famous little book that he's written. He's also famous because, the City Lights bookstore in San Francisco. Also, he had published, I think, Ginsberg, a famous poem, long poem, Howl, which, by the way, went to the court for obscenity, but won for free speech. And so those whole hip poets, if you will. All right, this is a poem called I Am Waiting. I'm waiting for my case to come up, and I'm waiting for a rebirth of wonder. And I'm waiting for someone to really discover America and wail. And I'm waiting for the discovery of a new symbolic Western frontier. And I'm waiting for the American eagle to really spread its wings and straighten up and fly right. And I am waiting for the age of anxiety to drop dead. And I'm waiting for the war to be fought, which will make the world safe for anarchy. and I'm waiting for the final withering away of all governments, and I am perpetually awaiting a rebirth of wonder. I am waiting for the second coming, and I am waiting for a religious revival to sweep through the state of Arizona. And I'm waiting for the grapes of wrath to be stored. And I'm waiting for them to prove that God is really America. And I am waiting to see God on television, piped into church altars, if only they can find the right channel to tune in on. And I'm waiting for the Last Supper to be served again with a strange new appetizer. And I am perpetually awaiting a rebirth of wonder. I'm waiting for my number to be called, and I'm waiting for the Salvation Army to take over. And I'm waiting for the meek to be blessed and inherit the world without taxes. And I'm waiting for forests and animals to reclaim the earth as theirs. And I am waiting to be devised to destroy all nationalism without killing anybody. And I'm waiting for linnets and planets to fall like rain. And I'm waiting for lovers and weepers to lie down again in a new rebirth of wonder. And I'm waiting for the great divide to be crossed. And I'm anxiously waiting for the secret eternal life to be discovered by an obscure general practitioner. And I'm waiting for the storm of life to be over, and I'm waiting to set sail for happiness. And I'm waiting for a reconstructed Mayflower to reach America with its picture story and TV rights sold in advance to the natives. And I'm waiting for the lost music to sound again in the lost continent and in a rebirth of wonder. And I'm waiting for the day that maketh all things clear. And I'm waiting for retribution for what America did to Tom Sawyer. And I'm waiting for Alice in Wonderland to retransmit to me her total dream of innocence. And I'm waiting for Aphrodite to grow live arms at a final disarmament conference and a new rebirth of wonder. And I am waiting to get some imitations of immortality by recollecting my early childhood. And I'm waiting for the green morning to come again. Youth's dumb green fields come back again, and I am waiting for some strains of unpremeditated art to shake my typewriter. And I'm waiting to write the great indelible poem, and I'm waiting for the last long careless rapture, and I am perpetually waiting for the fleeting lovers on the Grecian urn to catch each other up at last and embrace. And I am awaiting perpetually and forever a renaissance of wonder. This is Dog by Lawrence Ferlinghetti. The dog trots freely in the street and sees reality. And the things he sees are bigger than himself. And the things he sees are his reality. Drunks in doorways, moons on trees. The dog trots freely through the street, and the things he sees are smaller than himself. Fish on newsprint, ants in holes, chickens in Chinatown windows, their heads a block away. The dog trots freely in the street, and the things he smells something like himself. The dog trots freely in the street past puddles and babies, cats and cigars, pool rooms and policemen. He doesn't hate cops. He merely has no use for them. And he goes past them. And he goes past dead cows hung up whole in front of the San Francisco meat market. He would rather eat a tender cow than a tough policeman, although either might do. And he goes past the Romeo Raviola factory, and past Coit's Tower, and past Congressman Doyle. But what he hears is very discouraging, very depressing, very absurd to a sad young dog like himself, to a serious dog like himself. But he has his own free will to live in. He has his own fleas to eat. He will not be muzzled. Congressman Doyle is just another fire hydrant to him. The dog trots freely in the street and has his own dog's life to live, to think about, to reflect upon, touching and tasting and testing everything, investigating everything without perjury of benefit of perjury, A real realist with a real tale to tell and a real tale to tell it with. A real live barking democratic dog engaged in free enterprise with something to say about ontology, something to say about reality and how to see it and how to hear it with his head cocked sideways at street corners, as if he is just about have his picture taken via Victory Records, listening for his master's voice and looking like a living question mark into the great gramophone of puzzling existence, with its wondrous hollow horn, which always seems just about to spout forth some victorious answer to everything. Lawrence Ferlinghetti, a Coney Island of the mind. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Julie Morrison. This is a poem called Unraveled. I am prompted to share this piece. I wrote it from Theatrikos, asking to hear about unity. And during this time of COVID, I thought, what could be more unifying than what we've hated about it? And so with that in mind, here is Unraveled. In the fabric of our lives, isolation has left us all hanging by a thread. Society that used to be a tapestry of gatherings, meetups, visits, and chance encounters became a threadbare quilt. Strained and mismatched patches, barely adhering to its original design. Time with loved ones has been cut short or cut out entirely. Masks have been a pill, as smiles became snarls against seemingly surface fibers, all knotted up for no big or deeply harmful reason, likely just rubbed the wrong way, as we've all been shelved, wrapped up only in ourselves, waiting for the day when we can roll out, reveling in the choice of new patterns. Until then, isolation is coarse and spare, a sackcloth with no grace for the grieving, that will not be softened by time, even if we're long worn out by its wear. For we have all been rubbed raw by its discomforts, shrouded by its darkness, all but mummified by its binds. What a day it will be when we can unwind together. Take off the sad coatings isolation has cast to let our spirits stretch sleeveless toward the warmth of one another's company, where by and by we might observe that we have remained close-knit with each other after all, despite how it's felt as our world unraveled. Thank you.
Hi, my name is John Propster, and I'm going to share a poem with you tonight that I discovered many years ago. And it's not your traditional poem, but I thought it had a very good message. Want to hear it? Here it go. Beware, do not read this poem by Ishmael Reed. Tonight, Thriller was about an old woman, so vain she surrounded herself with many mirrors. It got so bad that finally she locked herself indoors and her whole life became the mirrors. One day, the villagers broke into her house, but she was too swift for them. She disappeared into a mirror. Each tenant who bought the house after that lost a loved one to the old woman in the mirror. First, a little girl, then a young woman, then the young woman's husband. The hunger of this poem is legendary. It has taken in many victims. Back off from this poem. It's drawn in your feet. Back off from this poem, it is drawn in your legs. Back off from this poem, it is a greedy mirror. You are into this poem from the waist down. Nobody can hear you, can they? This poem has had you up to here. This poem ain't got no manners. You can't call out from this poem. Relax now and go with this poem. Move and roll onto this poem. Do not resist this poem. This poem has your eyes. This poem has his head. This poem has his arms. This poem has his fingers. This poem has his fingertips. This poem is the reader, and the reader is the poem.
Hello, my name is Bryn, and this is Bare Heart. I wrote this poem while I was working as a teacher in jails. I'm remembering places that no longer exist anymore. And if home is where the heart is, if my home is gone, am I heartless? No. Because I feel it beating, feel it seething, feel the pain and the love. I wish I knew if you could feel the same, or have you had enough? Hello, my name is, I work from here, I'm from there, do my thing. Yeah, I got money. No, not a lot. Well, it was nice to meet you anyway. What is my age? Do I like music? Yeah, but the kind that makes you want to cry. I think about dying. I think about how it would be okay to F off from this life. What did you say? I'm crazy? Take a look at your life. You ask empty questions. You think that you love me, all because I have pretty eyes. Hell, you don't know me. What are my passions? You just know what girls you want to ride. I'm remembering places that no longer exist anymore. And if home is where the heart is, if my home is gone, am I heartless? No, because I feel it beating, feel the seething, feel the pain and the love. I wish I knew if you could feel the same, or have you had enough? Man, I didn't realize we're in a movie, one of those dystopian horror flicks. I look all around me. I'm seeing zombies, dead-eyed and heartless, sending me pics. Where are the artists? They must be in hiding. They know what the corporate thugs are going to get them. What is your income? Do you pay taxes? If they can't bleed them, they sooner forget them. See them on the street, they're trying to hustle. See them in jails, paying the system. So much to say, nothing to hear. They don't have the words and no one will listen. Man, I am tired of thin lines of division, moral codes lost in legal translation. Here, I'll make it easy. Do you have money? Okay, then you have freedom. I'm remembering places that no longer exist anymore. And if home is where the heart is, if my home is gone, am I heartless? No, because I feel it beating, feel the seething, feel the pain and the love. I wish I knew if you could feel the same, or have you had enough? They told me I can't show my true emotions, but I wear my heart on my sleeve. So now I wear long sleeves to cover up the fact that I feel the need to connect to these humans, because I have a habit of looking into their souls. No matter their failings, imperfections, I feel their heart and I don't want to be alone. Or maybe that's them, a projection, this deep need we all have inside. The need to be loved, need to belong, to make sense of this lonely life. I'm remembering places that no longer exist anymore. And if home is where the heart is, if my home is gone, am I heartless? No, because I feel it beating, feel the seething, feel the pain and the love. I wish I knew if you could feel the same, or have you had enough? Because home is where the heart is, and I'm wearing mine under my sleeve. But sometimes I bear arms because I can't bear a heart that never gets seen. Because home is where the heart is, and I'm wearing mine under my sleeve. But sometimes I bear arms because I can't bear a heart that never gets seen. Because home is where the heart is, and I'm wearing mine under my sleeve. But sometimes I bear arms because I can't bear a heart that never gets seen. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kate Harkins, and I live in Northern Arizona. I'm a poet, and today I'd like to read for you a sestina called South of the Tracks. And the form of the sestina works on repeating lines, and so the last word of each line is a repetition, and the same 6 words repeat throughout the poem, and the last little stanza is only 3 lines with all 6 words in it. So you might hear a lot of repetition. South of the tracks. The wind sends the news along the one-way street and curls that day and the day before like oil paint. Thunder cracks by the mission church south of the tracks, where men walk toward the evening meal. The mission takes up a corner and the one-legged man swings close on crutches. I don't know the man on crutches. He appears like an apparition, continues down the street. He combs the curbs and corners for anything burning. A can of spray paint rolls like a grenade toward his staccato walk. A train stops hard on the tracks. The mission south of the tracks blares its message of sin and salvation. The crutches rub underneath his arm as he walks past the alley along the street. A storm rumbles in the distant painted desert. Lightning, like a zipper, opens the corners of the sky. The mission lights stare from the corner. The neon cross reflects a horizon of tracks that carry a cargo of the wrong kind of dreams, painted with a horizontal smile, a social crutch to share with the faces in the street. Wise ghosts sail by as if they could walk from place to place, like many of us walk, with form and mass filling space with dimension. A corner bar draws people from the street, full of ink hiding faded tracks and scars. A legacy of crutches waves them like brushes full of paint. Memory paints a history of others who walk on heavy journeys to gather crutches, like the man cornered by a treacherous mile, grinding its tracks here again and now far away along San Francisco Street. After dinner, night begins to paint deep into the corners, darkness empty. The man on crutches heads toward the tracks on that walk toward Main Street.
And that has been an evening of spoken word, a celebration of unity here at Theatrikos. I'm your host, Chris Verrill, and the executive director of Theatrikos. We want to thank our 9 Flagstaff poets. Give them all a virtual round of applause while you're there at home. We want to thank Lisa Jane, Marilyn McDonald, Mark Stevens, Kate Rose, Bob Yowell, Julie Morrison, John Propster, Bryn Wolf, and Kate Harkins for being such wonderful poets. And of course, our production crew, our producers, Bob Yowell pulling double duty, and our wonderful Jan Rominger, also as the producer, and our video director and editor, the amazing John Propster. And hey, I know I gave you a lot of announcements at the beginning. I'm going to repeat one of them, because if you are a poet who's interested in this, maybe you're also an aspiring actor, and those auditions for Native Gardens are coming your way May 2nd and 3rd. Contact us here at Theatrikos for more information. And with that, thank you for joining us here on Theatrikos for an evening of spoken word.